In this video, we're going to talk about simple harmonic motion. So simple harmonic motion. So the position of a point oscillating, so the position of a point oscillating about equilibrium. So equilibrium is when it's at rest. So oscillating about big words, librium is, and there's two formulas we can use. Sometimes you have this formula here. So S of t is equal to A cosine of omega t, or sometimes we can use the sine function as well. S of t is A sine omega t. And all of this, the absolute value of A, that's the amplitude. The period is just like the period before from trig. It's 2 pi over b, except in this case, it's not b, it's omega. So it's 2 pi over omega. And to find the frequency, you just flip the period. Okay, so the frequency, you just flip this. It's 1 over this, so it'd just be omega over 2 pi. Let's go ahead and do a simple example so you see how this works. It's actually really not that bad. So EX means example. Let's say we have, I'll use bad English here, so height of weight, to save time. So the height of weight, so we have a weight, and it's attached to a spring. So height of weight attached to spring after t seconds is, so we have S of t, it's a formula given, and let's say, how about this one, -6 cosine 4t. So we have a weight that's being attached to a spring, okay, and it's oscillating up and down. Okay, basically it looks something like this, right? So it's a trig function. It's modeled by this function here. So the height is modeled by this function. Part A, we want the maximum height, so max height above equilibrium. I won't write that part. So the maximum height above the equilibrium should be the maximum value of the range of this function. In this problem here, A is -6, and so the amplitude is the absolute value of A, and that's 6. And so if you think about the range here, the range would be -6 to 6. So the maximum height is actually just 6. That's as high as this function goes, right? This function oscillates between -6 and 6. B, we want to know the period. So to find the period, we just do 2 pi over omega. Omega here is 4. So it'd be 2 pi over 4. So it would simply be pi over 2. So this function is periodic with period pi over 2. C, let's find the frequency. So frequency. To find the frequency, we just flip the period. So that would be 2 over pi. So just flip it. Pretty easy. And then part D is probably the hardest part. It says, when does the weight reach its maximum height? So when does the weight reach the maximum height? So this will happen when the height function is equal to 6. So we take this entire function here and we set it equal to 6. So it's equal to 6. And then we just have to solve this for t. So to do that, we divide by -6. So we get cosine of 4t equals -1. And we know that the cosine of pi is -1. So that would mean that 4t is equal to pi. And so that means that t is equal to pi over 4. So pi over 4, and the units here are seconds. So that was just a really quick video for harmonic motion. I hope that helped someone out there. That's it.